Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Further Beyond Gaming. My name is Cody GT, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about whether you should pull for Stygian Nymph, who's coming here very soon, or if you should be saving for 4.1 for the Ursha of Thunder May. Now, the reason why I wanted to do this video is because a lot of you commented in my last video asking about Stygian Nymph and whether you should pull for her or not. And the reason why I did not bring it up in my last video pertaining to Bright Knight Durandal, whether you should pull for her or save for version 4.1, is because the simple fact that Stygian Nymph is not here yet, and I was going to discuss pulling for her when she dropped. And the only reason why I discussed Bright Knight Durandal exclusively is because her banner's here right now, and I thought it was just applicable. But since so many of you asked me in the comments of my last video about Stygian Nymph, I thought, why not? Let's go ahead and drop the video and talk about whether you should pull for her or not. And as you can see with the supply, Bright Knight Durandal will be leaving in 10 days, and Stygian Nymph will be here because she will be next, and then Lightning Empress, and then we should be getting version 4.1. So, with that being said, that's what we'll be discussing in today's video. I hope you enjoy what you see today. If you do, go ahead and drop a like. It helps out the channel tremendously. And if you're new, you enjoy the content, you haven't hit that subscribe button already, go ahead and consider doing that today for more content like this and much more. So, with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and jump into it. So, we're going to be talking about whether you should be pulling for Stygian Nymph when she drops, or if you should be saving for the Ursha of Thunder May. Now, keep in mind, this is just my opinion. This is just what I think, and I'll try and be as unbiased as possible because a lot of you know that the Ursha of Thunder May is my waifu. But in my Bright Knight Durandal video, I was very unbiased and gave you my honest opinion, and I will do the same here. Now, I can see the appeal for Stygian Nymph, and she's absolutely fantastic. If you guys watch my tier list video, I put her at the very top as a god tier, one of the best Valkyries in the game, and I do stand by that. She is absolutely fantastic, and one of the reasons being is because she is a quantum physical DPS Valkyrie that is very valuable to a lot of individuals who either do not have great physical DPS Valkyries or do not have great quantum types. Now, quantum types in of itself really jumps up the Valkyrie a lot of tiers. I mentioned this before. The reason being is because you have type neutral to all typing, whether it be psychic, biological, or mecha, and you have an advantage against quantum type enemies. So you have to keep that in mind. That instantly makes you more valuable, as well as there's not that many quantum type Valkyries in the game as of right now. We have Stygian Nymph, we have Swallowtail Phantasm, and we have Valkyrie Gloria. So hopefully here in the future we'll be getting more quantum type Valkyries to be able to round out that list a little bit better, as well as the other typing that is supposed to be the advantage against quantum. So that'll be great, hopefully in the near future. Now, moving back to Stygian Nymph, that right there makes her extremely valuable, and then like I mentioned, being a physical DPS, but she has a lot more in her kit that makes her extremely valuable as well. She can do a lot of damage, especially with her ultimate. She's very easy to use from a gameplay standpoint and a control standpoint, and she's just fantastic all around with her dual personality. You can pretty much spam her ultimate because there's no SP cost associated with it, outside of wanting to make sure you use it smart and wisely when you have it as filled up as possible. She fits on a lot of great teams. As you can see, this is one applicable one, but she fits just about on any really good physical team consisting of Drive Komata, the new SP Teresa, Celestial Hymn, paired up with other great DPS like Bright Knight Durandal and Gakiana, things of that nature. And she could be a standalone really strong Valkyrie by herself. So she has a lot of utility, time fracture on her ultimate evasion, and she's absolutely fantastic when she comes to her skills and things of that nature. So really good Valkyrie here when it comes to Stygian Nymph. Now, the thing that I believe you should keep in mind, and what you should really consider when deciding if you should go for Stygian Nymph or not, especially for my free-to-play players. This doesn't really pertain to my pay-to-play players or the whales out there for the game. For my free-to-play players, though, Stygian Nymph, in my opinion, really only works with her applicable gear. It's really hard to have Stygian Nymph output the type of damage or make her the type of Valkyrie that you've been hearing about without her applicable equipment, especially her weapon in particular. And this is what may separate the Airshot Thunder May from Stygian Nymph, and this is something that I noted in my last video about Bright Knight Durandal as well, that kind of separated them in a sense, is that the Airshot Thunder May, especially for my free-to-play players, may be a more appealing option for the fact that you can really put a great lightning stigmata set on her, and there's a lot of good ones out there that you can obtain, and you can put a really good free-to-play weapon in the Mag Storm and be able to pre-arm it into the Mag Typhoon, and that will work really well with the Airshot Thunder May. Whereas with Stygian Nymph and even Bright Knight Durandal, they're pretty limited to their weapon in particular, because of there not being as many lances and not as many scythes that are just applicable to all of the users of that weapon, if that makes sense. And this one in particular is just really valuable to Stygian Nymph, and you definitely would want to try and get this one as well as her full stigmata set, because that really separates her from like, let's say, a free-to-play gear set compared to a applicable gacha gear set when it comes to Stygian Nymph. So with the weapon, the wielder restores 100 HP instantly and gains 10% crit rate and 15% crit damage for 10 seconds upon unleashing switch skill or ultimate. Right there alone is just absolutely fantastic. And then the wielder gains 12% physical damage. Stygian Nymph equip bonus gains 15% total damage multiplier for mark damage. So as you can see, it's just very, very applicable. And then you're definitely going to want to try and get the Allen Poe set because of the same reasons. It's just extremely applicable to Stygian Nymph, and it really highlights how much damage she's able to do and how well she's able to perform for you. As well as, in my opinion, once again, Stygian Nymph, she needs a lot of setups to be really great as well. And this may be a bit controversial, so I understand if you go down in the comments below and you tear me apart, but I believe that Stygian Nymph needs to be catered to in order to make herself extremely good. Like what you believe she can be and what she's able to be. I think she needs setups. I think she needs to be in the right team combination with the right switches and have the right gear. I think everything just needs to be extremely tailor-made for her in order for her to be absolutely fantastic. Stand alone, if you don't have those things, I just don't think she performs all that well, unlike Bright Knight Durandal, or in my opinion, the Airshot Thunder May. The Airshot Thunder May and Bright Knight Durandal stand alone. They don't have to have the greatest setup or the greatest things working for them in order to be absolutely fantastic still. And they can stay out there without switching and setting up combinations and having all the perfect setup for them to really still output fantastic damage and still perform really well. Whereas I believe Stygian Nymph needs that, and she needs to be catered to. If you're putting a team together and you're having Stygian Nymph on the team, I think you need to cater the team around her, as well as you have to make sure that she has the applicable gear. So that's just something to take into consideration from somebody that's used all these Valkyries and used them pretty extensively. That's just my take and what I've noticed. And so I hope that helps a little bit in being able to give you a better insight on what you would want to do or decide on how you would want to go ahead and set up your Valkyries and go for who you would like to pull for and things of that nature. I think she's absolutely fantastic. I mentioned this before. My tier list has her up there at the very top. I think she's one of the top 5 best Valkyries in the game. I just think she needs to be catered to. I think she needs to have the right setup. And it threw me off that the Shigure Kira's bottom was on her. I'm like, why is that on there? I forgot I was doing some switches and switching stigmatas around. That shouldn't be on her. I just took one off and put it on another Valkyrie. Anyways, that threw me off. So yes, I think she needs to be tailor-made, catered around, and in order for her to be absolutely fantastic, top tier, where the Airshot Thunder May, I just personally don't think you need to. I think she can be really fantastic on her own. So if you're asking me whether you should save for 4.1 or pull for Stygian Nymph, this once again may be controversial, and I know a lot of you are going to disagree with me, but I think you should save for 4.1. Reason being is because of those reasons that I just mentioned, especially for my free-to-play players, but also you have a great alternative free-to-play option in Swallowtail Phantasm that can do really good for you. Now, albeit not the same level as Stygian Nymph, I understand that, but this is a great substitute if you needed a quantum physical DPS Valkyrie. This is a great alternative option. Swallowtail Phantasm can be absolutely fantastic for you if you have the proper gear on her, and you have her decently evolved to SS or SSS, which you can pretty easily. She could be a great substitute, and I think she'll be fantastic, and I think you could save 4.1 and go with the Airship Thunder May. But like I mentioned in my last video, there's a great alternative option for the Airship Thunder May as well, and that's Hawk of the Fog. So, you know, and this is a fantastic alternative option. Some people actually, it seems, are preferring Hawk of the Fog over the Airship Thunder May and are just going to go ahead and pull for Stygian Nymph, which is valid. That's totally fine. It's completely up to you at the end of the day. It really honestly is, and I mentioned that in my last video as well. You have to really just take a look at your account and decide what you're more in need of. Do you need more of a physical DPS Valkyrie or a more elemental DPS Valkyrie? Are you lacking on psychic types? Then there you go. Or do you need this quantum for your team? It really is completely up to you, and at the end of the day, it's whoever you prefer and whoever your waifu is. That's the great thing about Honkai, is that it's based on whoever you enjoy the most, whoever you find to give you the most enjoyment in the game. Whoever your waifu is, that's who you go for at the end of the day, to be quite honest with you. So if Sele is your waifu, Stygian Nymph is who you've been saving for and been wanting to obtain, then by all means, you go for it. You don't let me or anybody else tell you otherwise. So that is my 2 cents, guys. Once again, I hope this wasn't too confusing. I hope I didn't just ramble and kind of repeat myself a bunch of times, and I know I probably did, but I hope this helped some of you, and I hope this gave you a better idea of who you're going to go for at the end of the day. So with that being said, guys, I am going to go ahead and get out of here. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. Remember to stand out, be different, have fun, go further beyond in everything that you do. And until next time, my boys, until next time, it's your homie Cody GT, and I'm out.